and welcome to Dwellers in the Dark. And today, myself and Ian, myself and Owen are going to be going through Pool A. Can you remind us who's in Pool A, please?
Chicken. There's a joke for the French. Pool A. Anyway.
God, no.
Poland won. Poland.
Yay!
Was the answer you were looking for. We've got Poland 1, we've got Scotland 2, they came out next, Sweden, and of course Wales 1.
Right, so Pool A. Now, how do you want to do this, Owen? Do you want to go through each list, talk about them, and then discuss how... The problem is, you see, we have 3 games for Poland, potentially, to discuss. And that could kind of take forever, or should we just go through each list?
Let's just do each list, and we'll let you analyse them against each other and comment down below with how you think each matchup's going to go, predictions.
Yeah, cool. So, do you want to open up Poland 1, Polish Hussars, and their first list is...
The first list is an Orc Engineer Captain with some crew, including a troll, with Orc trackers on Warg.
2 Orc trackers, yeah.
We've got a Taskmaster from Harad with 6 Watchers of Karna with bow, 6 Haradrim Warriors with spear. We've got the Knight of Umbar, our good old friend on a Fell Beast, with 6 Watchers of Karna and 6 Harad Warriors, the same. And then we've got, all the way from Goblin Town, riding his little zip wire.
Ha! El Scribio!
And he'll have 6 Goblin Warriors.
Right.
So,
now, we've looked at this list earlier, and we were a bit unsure what we thought about the list. You think it's the red herring list, the 5th list?
yes, that's my instinct.
My instinct is I wouldn't be surprised if the Poles pull this one out of the hat and have this list set to go against different type of armies.
Yeah.
Now, we've discussed with the Engineer Captain and the Troll, who has an axe, by the way, as you'll see in the listing that we've put up. This could be a Fell Beast killer. How many Fell Beasts it can kill, questionable, but it could be a Fell Beast killer.
It's one of those things where if it works once, you've lost a Fell Beast, but you may only get to have 1 turn of shooting. So minimum range on the catapult, if I remember rightly, is 18 inches.
But maximum range is it 60 or 70?
Large.
Yeah.
So
it's positioning on the board, surely, though, isn't it?
well, it's also got the old volley fire rule, so it can fire indirect.
Yeah.
As long as one of your team can see the model that you're aiming for.
Yes.
So you have got the option to shoot for things which are hiding away.
Yeah.
As long as like elven cloaks and stuff like that are.
And you've got the catapult troll there, which, if it's in base contact, gives you 2 rolls to hit.
And at 4+, pretty good chances of getting a hit. But then you've got the scatter.
Yeah.
But then for a lone Fell Beast with an army, you might be able to make it scatter onto a random Harad warrior or a Mordor orc somewhere. But if it's an all Fell Beast army, where are you going to scatter to? Another Fell Beast. So it depends. What I mean, obviously as well, they might not be taking it for Fell Beast. They might be going for Iron Hills dwarves and things like that. High defense armies that they don't really want to engage in combat. I mean, he's got 12 bows in this army as well.
Is it strength 9?
So
Strength 9. The
strength 10, I think, and then it's a strength 5 or 6 hit on people within 2 inches of that person. So
I thought it was strength 9. It was the troll catapult in there and back again. That's strength 10.
it might be. My knowledge is old.
Put it this way, 9 or 10 strength is still going to be taking out just about everything.
Taskmaster obviously good with the Knight of Umbar because you can combine that. Scribe, I love the Scribe.
It's a dainty little model as well.
When Unexpected Journey first dropped, the Scribe was in most of my armies because things like Domination, when you could just wander on to objectives at the back, and you didn't have to walk all that way, which for goblins, it's quite helpful not having to walk all that way.
Yeah.
Because it's a long way to walk. So,
Alright, so we're in two minds. What do you think, guys? Is this the red herring list, or is this an actual list? We shall see. Moving on to list 2.
right, this one.
These aren't in any particular order, by the way.
So this one, as you'll see, is Saruman on a horse. We've got the Witch King of Angmar with some Morannons and a Spectre, a couple of Spectres, a Taskmaster with some Morannons, a Tracker on a Warg, and an Orc Warrior just wandering around with them. You've got an Orc Drummer, again some Morannons, a Tracker on a Warg and an Orc Warrior, and then Kardush, interesting choice, with some Morannons, a Tracker, and an Orc Warrior. This time the Tracker does not have a Warg.
And you believe that this is a solid list?
I think it's an interesting list, and I'm quite a fan of Kardush. He's kind of dismissed by a lot of people because of that cost of removing an orc to deliver yourself more will. But this Witch King on Angmar is only on a horse.
And he's only got 3 will additional.
Extra. Yeah, so we're looking at a Witch King who looks like he's there for casting, which makes me think the random Orc Warriors in each warband are there as cannon fodder for Kardush. He can sacrifice one of those rather than a Morannon. He can boost the Witch King back up again if he needs to. And I think actually Kardush's special rules, because he's got Fury,
Yeah.
but he's also got the Fire Blast thing, which is actually pretty decent. It can take out higher defense warriors that are maybe in annoying places, or banners. Very useful for banners. And Drummer gives you the manoeuvrability that this army lacks.
See, I think this is the dud list. I think this is the red herring, and my concern is because if you lose a couple of models, your Witch King suddenly becomes a lot more powerful. It's very, very weak at the moment, the Witch King.
Yeah, but then I guess with a Taskmaster and a Drummer, you've got the ability to catapult that Witch King around, and you're going to get your might back.
Yeah,
Most
but
of the time.
my concern is its will. At 13 will, it's extremely weak for, for such a large amount of points.
I think I'd have been more confident that this was going to be one of their game lists.
Yeah.
If the Witch King had either a Fell Beast or a Crown.
Yes.
Or the full 20
yeah,
will.
If there was more points spent towards it.
But 120 points though, it's not a bad shout.
No.
It's not quite cheap enough for a budget, but who knows? I think if it gets it to the tournament, I'll be interested to watch this play a few games, because
indeed
there's the tactics around this is going to be quite interesting.
Yeah.
Right. List 3. We've got, as you'll see, a Galadrim Stormcaller
with a general,
2 guards of the Galadrim Court and some Wood Elf warriors. We've got Legolas, a Sentinel, and some Wood Elf warriors. And between them, we've got we've only got 5 bows, but 2 warbands, that's not too bad. We've got Lady of Light Galadriel. We always like to see her, except when she's on the other team. And then from Thorin's company, Dori, Ori and Bomber are making an appearance. And then from Durin's folk, we've got Floy leading some Dwarf warriors, again, 4 with bow.
I mean, the Stormcaller as the general is quite interesting for me, because you know he's going to be kept back in the rear anyway, and he's going to be that nature's wrath kind of, etc, etc on 3 dice more likely. Legolas and Floy, ouch.
Yeah, undying killer.
Yeah, in fact, I'm also looking at Legolas, Floy, and 4 dwarf warriors with bows. When Floy comes along and he clicks on the Undying or the Necromancer or something similar.
Well, and we've got 5 Wood Elf bows and the Sentinel's bow.
Yeah.
So we've got. I think this list, I said to Dave when I first saw it, this is very similar to a list I took a number of years ago.
Yeah.
And with Galadriel, Lady of Light, instead of the original Magical Galadriel, it's actually quite an interesting list. And then with Bombers in there, often overlooked. I used to take Bomber in at 1,000 points, with Gandalf and Alfred, because then you can either get will back on Gandalf to cast or will back on Alfred to get your might back. Obviously that's changed a bit now because of Alfred's rule.
Yeah.
But Bomber getting Floyd's will back means he can continue to switch people off, he can get rid of special rules. If things don't work out quite right, you can just keep having another chance.
We also have 4 strong heroes mobile. Legolas, Doriori and Bomber, ponies and horses. And that could be a bit of a game changer when it comes to certain scenarios.
Yeah, and a Sentinel. Again, another often overlooked model who I remember playing against Adam Troke and his doubles partner one year, and his doubles partner took an army which had a number of Sentinels and a number of Guards of the Galadriel Court, I think Celeborn and Rumil. And it was a very strange army, and I didn't get it at first. And after a few turns, when it got my entire army wandering all over the place, not really knowing where they were going, it made sense then.
Yeah.
And I think the other side of it is Sentinels making you pass your courage tests. He'll be able to make sure that he gets where he needs to be in order to win. And Lady of Light, I mean, she's pretty self-explanatory.
That's actually a very, very nice list. I know you're a bit concerned about the Stormcaller being the general.
Yeah.
You'd have put Lady of Light, but a recent post up on the forums just kind of indicated that if you start giving your general to weaker models as such, your opponent then has to decide, do I take the bigger threats like Galadriel, do I take Legolas, or do I go for your general's points and leave those alone?
It's true, but because this is the Mirkwood Stormcaller, he's got Nature's Wrath and he's got Core Winds, I would say that he's already a high priority target. And,
yes.
And then to make him general, and actually he's so low defense, a couple of hurls and he's dead.
True, but you've got to get into the back as such, you've got to get into the core, and at which point he's then got that, whoops, I'm going to roll my 3 dice and see if
all up there's Doriori,
yeah,
Bomber, smashing you with their Dwarven Might.
Alright, so this is the list that I think might be a little bit of a red herring, but we'll move on.
Right, so now we've got the Undying on Felbeast.
Alright, this is definitely not the dead list. You can't take the Undying as a dead list.
He's leading some Morannon Orcs, an Orc Warrior, a Spectre, and 2 Trackers on Warg. Again, the theme in the Polish, the Trackers on Wargs. We've got the Shadow Lord on a Felbeast, we've got some Morannon Orcs, we've got a Spectre, we've got an Orc Tracker on Warg. And then we've got a Taskmaster with 6 Reavers and 3 Watchers of Kana with boats.
So they've paid for the axes for the Reavers as well, which is it's good to see. Corsair Reavers with axes can be deadly.
Yes, as we all know from watching like James on the GVHL when he used them, and they just tore through armies, because a low defense model with 2 attacks and incredible strength, that can do damage. The strange thing is seeing it in this context where we don't have the shade.
Yeah,
we've got a different thing going on here.
We do have the Spectres who have the ability to fell light upon the spear supports, etc., that can whittle down your back line.
Or drag you in if you're trying to avoid a confrontation, and then they can surround you and get into you. I think I like this list, it's solid.
Yeah.
We've got a few random things like the Trackers on Wargs are great for objective stealing or for getting around the side of you, because Trackers underrated as a combat model.
Yeah.
But they're so cheap, points wise. You put them on a Warg, you're still only talking 11 points.
Yes.
And they, strength 4 from the Warg, they can really harass
Indeed.
an army. So I think, I would be quite confident to say that this is going to be a featured list.
I'd say so too.
And obviously, if it is, I'll make sure I post some photos of those Corsair Reavers with axes so we can all go, oh, filth! As we all know, Corsair Reavers with axes are filth.
No, they wash up quite well. They're on boats. They
true.
have water accessibility.
Insert jokes about sailors. So, the final list...
One in every port. Apparently there's a sailor, one in every port.
So the final list from the White Council, we've got Saruman the White on a horse, Gandalf the Grey on a horse.
Gandalf the Grey being the general here.
We've got from Rohan, Erkenbrand with 7 red shields. So, shield and bow as usual. We've got Eowyn on a horse with 1 rider of Rohan with banner and 1 outrider on a horse and 5 red shields again, bringing the bows, making use of the Rohan special rules here. We've got Beregond mounted, joining us from Minas Tirith, and then clearly done defending the Shire on the way through to Rohan, meeting up with Beregond with 2 Rangers of the North on a horse. One of them has got a spear.
For spear support.
Yeah, so I point out to Dave, Fall on the Fat on a horse has a spear, Citadel Guard on horse can have spear, Rangers of the North on horse can have spear. I think that's it. So if you know any other mounted horse wielders
that can spear support,
again, comment down below. It's an unusual list from a UK perspective, but you were saying when you went over to Poland, you've seen it in action,
and it's top table meta there, and I believe it's quite similar to a list that was brought to the ETC last year by Poland.
Yeah.
Again, it's a double wizard. The double wizard, loads and loads of mobility there. In fact,
cheap cavalry, isn't it?
Very cheap cavalry. I mean, when you start thinking that you have Rivendell Knights, but you're spending 22, 23 plus points, and yet for a rider Rohan,
or a Westfold, you're looking at 14 points for a...
And that's with a bow, shield,
and it's fight 4, so most of the time, if you're coming up against things like Mordor, you're not going to miss being fight 5. You might miss it if you come up against Minas Tirith. But...
The thing about this list, though, is it's only got 22 models in total.
Yeah.
Now, I can see that the Rangers of the North are pulling away some of those points where you could get a few more Riders of Rohan, but they're bringing in extra might.
Yeah. It's a very might-heavy army, and for all mounted, it's so important to have that might. And actually, the advantage of having Beregond and Rangers of the North is you're spreading your might out a bit.
Yeah.
Your opponent can't just do a Channel Chill Soul or a Black Dart or something and take Eowyn out and then run away with the game.
Indeed.
They've got to hit might from different directions.
Erkenbrand there gives the extra 2 for the courage tests.
If Adam and Jay are watching, Erkenbrand broken.
Easily killed though.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
I mean, that list, and I've seen it, is a Fellbeast killer.
Yeah.
But yet it's not something we're familiar with in the GBHL meta, and we're not familiar. In fact, we're not familiar with it in this light, the double wizard, because the double wizard in its own right prevents Fellbeasts having their way. And Jay Clare is a definite example of how that was demonstrated when he brought Saruman the Wise and Gladriel. The double wizard there prevent Fellbeasts just swamping in to cause destruction. You've got plenty of bowl shots there. You've got a banner in there.
And
you've got
blinding light
to
sit behind.
You know, you've got 2 sorcerer's blasts. You've got you've got the whole package. My only concern is, could the Rangers of the North, could you lose those 2 might and get in more riders? What would you get? 60 odd points.
4 riders.
So yeah, you bring it up to a total size of 24. Then you're only getting 2 extra.
But it's one of these things where the right matchup, this army, devastating.
Yes.
The right mission. So we're saying reconnoiter.
Seize the prize.
Seize the prize. Might be really good missions, but if you get the wrong matchup, the wrong mission, it could be a tough game. But again, we know that if we know the Poles are using this in their normal meta, so we've got experienced people running it, and we often say this with experienced lists when we're talking about them, is an experienced person with an unusual list can often beat somebody who is an experienced person who just doesn't know that list.
Yes, indeed.
You know, so things like eagles and Fellbeasts, and part of the charm is you don't see them often. They're all Fellbeast, and so you're not necessarily as skilled at destroying it the way you would a shield wall or a usual all-mounted.
There is something else. We all have friends. Some of us, anyway. We all have friends who have who've decided to go Rohan in their time, and we've been weaned in our competitiveness against Rohan, and this is an easy game, and whatever list we come up, we can find ways of breaking Rohan. But when, as you said, you've got it in the hands of people who use it at the highest competitive level, they're going to show you tricks and movements that you just won't be aware of, and they will literally pull the wool over people's eyes in regards to a game, and you'll sit back and go, I've just been beaten by Rohan.
And a willingness maybe to... I think one of the things about the Rivendell lists that we see in the UK is the best people with them are the people who are willing to sit back for quite a while, often 1 or 2 turns more than I would be comfortable sitting back.
Yeah.
But as a result, they get a couple of extra kills with their shooting, or a couple extra kills with their Saruman blasting, which turn out to dramatically change the game.
Yeah.
But having that confidence in your list to know, you know what, actually I can wait another turn, it's not going to cost me the game. But also knowing not to wait too long, because I've played against all-mounted people who've skirted around the edge of the board for 2 hours in a 2-hour 15 game,
in the middle.
And I'm stood on the middle going, carry on, I've got 60 guys in the middle you've got to kill, and you're only killing a couple a turn. Oh well. So, again, I hope they do bring it, because
I reckon
nice variety.
I'd put money on that list coming, definitely. Yeah. Right, so that was Poland. Polish Hussars. Moving on, they are going to be playing against, in their first game, because we've done this in order, haven't we?
I put them in order of how
well, you see, that's how they're going to be playing. So Poland 1 is going to play Scotland 2.
That's good then.
And at
Plans
the same
are coming
time,
together, Dave.
Sweden are going to be playing Wales 1. But let's crack on with Scotland, shall I?
Yeah, you can take
Right.
over.
Oh God!
Now it's written in tiny
now
writing.
it's tiny writing. Okay, so Scotland, Team 2. We have from Mordor, Taskmaster. We have Morannon Orcs with shields, Morannon Orcs with shields, and Morannon Orcs with shields because they've paid for different weapons here: axes, swords, and maces.
Well, not necessarily paid for them
because they're free from Morannons.
Yeah.
Oh, I do hate this axe thing. Then we have Gorbag. Ah, yes, this is where it's confusing. We have Gorbag with some Morannon Orc warriors, some Orc trackers and wargs. Definitely coming up as a theme, these Orc trackers and wargs. Morannon Orc warriors, again, some with spears and shields. Orc trackers and warg. And then we have a ring wraith with 2 might, 1 will, 1 fate, and a horse, as you do.
Or 1 extra will.
Yeah, 1 extra will and 1 fate and 2 might. Morannon Orc warrior, Orc tracker on warg again, and a spectre. And then we have another ring wraith. Same again. In fact, this whole thing is exactly the same, except no spectre on this one. And then an Orc shaman on warg with some Orc trackers on wargs and some 10 Orc trackers. Interesting list.
Yep. Again, it's nice to see they've thought about objective grabbing.
Yeah.
They've got a spectre in there to add your variety. A single spectre, a few spectres to an army doesn't cost you too much in numbers.
No.
It does add you a couple of tricks. I like budget wraiths.
Yeah, you were saying.
And I remember the early days when I first started playing Lord of the Rings and budget wraiths were everywhere. That was back before The Hobbit. And the UK scene, a lot of evil armies just would take like a 171 ring wraith on foot with a decent army, and they would just be willing to spend the might early, chuck out some will, and you were in trouble.
Yeah.
And yes, 3 turns in, the ring wraith might not be there anymore, or might be running around with 1 will, but
did its job.
It's done its job, and the loss of the ring wraith, if they made a mistake, wasn't significant.
Yeah.
So, from this point of view, is they've managed to get so many models 61 models in their army.
2 ring rates, Taskmaster, and a Shaman.
Yeah,
to say
and
the least.
Gorbag.
Yeah.
And so
It's a fantastic horde army, and it's a strong horde army. Its courage isn't too low, and its defense 6,
yeah,
nearly across the board. My concern there is that there's no named heroes other than Gorbag, and we don't hear much about Gorbag
no,
or
he's not that
Krishna.
interesting.
No, he's
a good carry of extra might. I think my concern with it is, although it does have a few Orc Trackers on War and a single Spectre, my concern is it's really just a shield wall army.
yeah.
And if it comes up against something that does either a shield wall army thing better,
Yeah.
or is made to open shield wall armies, like a tin opener, then it's going to struggle.
We're at the top of that sheet.
Just over by here.
Over by yeah.
Indeed.
Over by yeah.
That's for our,
So-
our Welsh fans.
Over by yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, moving on. So,
Or just Alistair. That's it.
Hi, Alistair. Anyway, so Legolas is the general of the next army, and we start off the listing with survivors of Lake Town. So we got good old Gandalf the Grey leading militia with bows. Then we have Bard the Bowman leading some Lake Town militia again.
And he's on a horse.
He is, as is Gandalf, should I mention. Then we have Alfred, who isn't on a horse. No horse would trust him.
Dubious counsellor there.
Don't you get in my bag. Anyway, so more Lake Town militia, and then we have Hilda Bianca and then we have the more Lake Town militia, and then we have Legolas and some guard of the Gladrim court. This is an awesome list. This reminds me of somebody else's lists.
It does. In fact, it reminds us of a few incredible lists from across the GBHL. One famously used who ends up in community blogs on a regular basis. We mentioned no names.
J. Clare. Anyway, so
Sorry, who's that? Who's J. Clare?
Mr. Lake Town.
So, I mean, I like it. I mean, Gandalf is a big points commitment,
Yeah.
but having a bit of magic, and when you've got Alfred,
Yes.
if they come up against a defence awkward like 5 and 7, the annoying ones for Sorcerer's Blast, you can channel it.
Yeah.
If he needs to channel a Transfix or whatever, it doesn't matter because Alfred can get that might back.
My concern with this list, every time I see Gandalf with Lake Town, anytime I see a single wizard, is what is preventing that wizard from being targeted by turn 2? What's keeping him safe? He's not going to be able to keep himself safe enough, but at least I see Legolas down here, and Legolas could well cause a little bit of, do I want to take the risk of being automatically hit, loads of might used, and then suddenly I'm actually having to, we'll say, I don't know, pray that I get the fate rolls from my...
I suppose when you've got that many warriors, if you come up against an army that's not that mobile, you can rely on the weight of numbers to shield between you. And if they've got flappies, whether they're eagles or foul beasts or watching the water maybe, you've got guards of the Gladrim court. So you can have fight 6 Gandalf.
We've only got 2 though. You've only got 2, and...
But they're relatively safe if they're hidden away as well. The chance of them taking them all out, and obviously Legolas he's not a bad fighter.
No, he's not.
Pushed him to shove.
It's just that when you see Gandalf the Grey there, at 800 points is what I'm talking about mostly, is that he needs some more protection.
Yeah.
And Legolas at least is doing that.
Yeah, and it increases the threat, doesn't it? Gandalf is more scary when there's another thing hitting at the same time.
Indeed. So then we have it's me.
You're reading all of these.
Here. Okay, so Scotland 2, we have Trandral, King of Mirkwood is the general. So we have Lothlorien Mirkwood with Trandrel, Wood Elf Warrior with Spears, Wood Elf Warrior Elven Blades, Wood Elf Warrior Elf Bows, one guard at Gladrim Court.
Yeah.
Then we have a Stormcaller, we have Wood Elf Warriors, a mixture of Spear, Blade and Elf Bow, and again one guard at Gladrim Court. So practically a copy warband as such. Then we have Meriadoc with Battling Brandybucks, Hobbit Archers and some Sheriffs. Paladin Took, Battling Brandybucks, Hobbit Archers and Sheriffs. And then we have good old Fatty. And then out of the pool of whiteness, we have Galadriel, Lady of Light, and we have Saruman the White on a horse.
Yeah.
Now that to me is a lovely, lovely army. My only concern is 31 models, and it's including hobbits.
Yeah. I mean, it's that strange thing when you're looking at the kind of less themed lists where they've got things taken from here or there, where they've clearly set out with an aim and they've brought in the hobbits to increase the numbers rather than taking more wood elves. But there's still a very low number of models.
Well, there's a major weakness there. Just on the hobbits alone, you get a couple of hurls off and you're getting 22 hobbits gone. That's the army broken.
But then you'd hope with Thranduil with Nature's Wrath, because it's the old Thranduil, Galadriel Stormcaller, Nature's Wrath Core wins, and Galadriel Lady of Light, Saruman the White, you're hoping that you can shut down the major threats with those four. But even then, you're relying on a...
First couple of things, I'm jumping in here. First couple of things is you're thinking about fell beasts and stuff. I'm thinking about trolls.
I'm thinking about trolls, because you're not going to have...
I'm thinking about eagles.
You're not going to have more than 4 trolls in an army, and actually to resist an auto cast Nature's Wrath, a normal Nature's Wrath which may be free, and then Lady of Light if it's a Ring Wraith on Fell Beast, or if it's not, Saruman Sorcerous Blasting. That's a lot of resisting you've got to do.
It is.
But I still think when your shield walls hit, yes, you might have lost a lot to the shooting.
Yeah.
They're going to cut through you like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah.
Like, they've got to do a lot of damage before the lines meet.
Yes. And I think that's my concern. I mean, I think you're right. The amount of hobbits there opens them up to being... it's a weakness there rather than a strength.
I think I'd have been tempted to lose Galadriel or Saruman to get another 2 or 3 warbands out of it to try and eke out the numbers, because Thranduil and the Stormcaller are minor casters.
They are.
So you still have casting threat. Or maybe even get another warband of elves led by another Stormcaller, so you've still got core wins.
Well,
Nature's Wrath.
So far we have 2 defensive casters. Thranduil and Galadriel Stormcaller, they're defensive without a doubt. You've got to get in close and that's when they do this stuff. Galadriel Lady of Light, if you come up against an army that has no spirits in it, she's not a complete waste of points, but you're losing the threat. She'd be better placed against another army.
But even when we look at her, thinking about, we've only shown you Team Poland's list, is some of those lists might have a single Ring Wraith or a few Ring Wraiths and then a couple of Spectres. They're the only things she can affect.
Yes.
So if they...
What about the Roarm list? With Gandalf the White.
Yeah.
With Blinding Light and then Saruman.
Well, you've got a Shootarling, because you've got this with Blinding Light versus them with Blinding Light. It's going to be a long game.
Yes. We'll crack on. Last 2 lists. The next one is Saruman on a horse. Saruman, not the White, but Saruman from Isengard, with Uruk-hai warriors with crossbow and pikes, some berserkers, feral Uruk-hai, a warg rider, and an orc warrior with spear. Then we've got Sharku. Now, I think Sharku's missing here. He's missing his warg.
He is.
Because his warg Sharkoon is Worf. They're as one.
They're inseparable
In
almost.
fact, yeah, they are. The metal version. And then you have some Orkai warrior again, crossbow and pike. You've got Orkai berserkers, ferals, warg rider, and orc warrior with spear. And then we have Tridon's Wolfbane. Now, checking that Saruman is the general here, that's good. That makes Tridon a grenade.
Yeah.
And he is horrible as a grenade. He runs in and he just smashes everything around him. And you don't care if you lose him.
No. But he's leading, he's still got a very similar warband to the others.
The exact same thing again.
And then there's Grimmer.
On a horse.
And obviously there's loads of ways to shut down Grimmer Wormtongue, but
You've got to spend those ways
got
doing
to do it. And
Yeah.
you've got to do it early, because if you try and hang about, suddenly you want to spend a point of might, and now you're considering, is it worth 2? And
But Grima, you do not want Grima in Fog of War. Because you're giving away a point straight away.
well, assuming that you've got the things to deal with him,
True.
you need to have those magical spells or whatever to deal with him. As a list, I think again, in the old days, Damien used to take very similar lists to that at similar points levels, and I've been on the wrong end of them. They're good.
I'm not a lover of crossbows on Orkai. They are great strength, but it's the mobility aspect.
Yeah.
You can shut down half an army if you give them enough things to, father to shoot at.
But if your opponent wants to, they can also stop one turn 24.5 inches away, and then 2 heroic marches, and you're considering how far back do I need to move, and
That is true.
you can't do the old skirmish, move back and shoot.
No.
And even the other side of it is, it's a big commitment if you're on a table where there's dense terrain, or if it's a mission where you need to be getting at your opponent. Those crossbows are not useful.
No. I mean, crossbows are extremely powerful, great in sieges and stuff like that, where you've only just got one in the way, per se. But as you said, dense terrain or multiple aspects of terrain can cause difficulty. The last list, Team Scotland 2. And we are up at an Orc Taskmaster, leading Black Númenóreans, Morannon Orcs with spears and spectres. Then we have Kardush, leading Black Númenóreans, Morannon Orcs with spears and shields and Orc trackers. And then we have the Shadow Lord on a Fellbeast with Black Númenóreans, Morannon Orc and Orc trackers. And then we have the Knight of Umbar on a Fellbeast with Orc trackers and riding wargs this time. Now, when I saw Orc Taskmaster, I thought, no, this is the dud list. But then when you see the likes of the Shadow Lord and the Knight of Umbar in there,
And Kardush for Fury.
and Kardush again, and just loads of Morannon Orcs, we're looking at, it's a total army size of 41 models with two large big bad boys. The Shadow Lord. I don't know why the Shadow Lord is there, because when you look at Black Númenóreans and Morannon Orcs, you're looking at defense 6. So though bowfire can be problematic, it's
not a huge threat.
No, it's not. It's not like you're using goblins or hobbits.
Or maybe that fear that they're going to come across something like the All-Mounted Rohan, and because this list doesn't have a huge amount of pace to it.
No, it's only just
2 Fellbeasts and 4
four
trackers
wargs.
on wogs. You get that. Is it going to have the ability to catch them quick enough? I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess that's why. I mean, I would probably have favoured maybe the Undying personally, but obviously Ringwraith preferences sometimes come with the general. This general might be a real sharp person for using the Shadow Lord well.
I mean, it still is a good caster. The Shadow
He is a
Lord.
good caster, and again, Kardush being in there with 2 orc trackers on foot, who to me look like cannon fodder, I would suggest Kardush is going to be doing a significant amount of casting.
Yeah, the other one has just ring rates. Just quickly going through. Yeah, it's actually, you're right, because they haven't used any other rates in the remainder of the list. So the Shadow Lord, it doesn't fit, I think.
But maybe it's because the missions that have been picked, maybe they're worried they're going to be on the wrong end of a long walk through Bowfire.
Yeah.
Because really, Kardush isn't carrying enough might to really do anything. You're relying on the Shadow Lord, the Knight of Umbart, and Orc Taskmaster to deliver your army quickly, and they might not be able to do it quick enough.
Good point.
It might be a fear thing, the weakness of their own army they're trying to balance out. But my worry with this one was Black Numenorians with Kardush is Fury is an orc thing,
Yeah.
not a human thing. So the Black Numenorians aren't going to benefit.
No, and
perhaps more Morannons would have been.
we've got 12 Black Numenorians on the board here at the moment. Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see if this makes it.
Yeah.
In this one, the Taskmaster is the general, which to me is the obvious choice in this list. You want your Fell Beast getting stuck in. Kardush at some point is probably going to be sacrificed to boost those, and because he's carrying Fury, he could be a real target for your opponent.
Yeah.
So your Taskmaster has to be the general.
Cool. Well, thanks very much, Team Scotland 2. Let's move on to Sweden.
Right. So,
hello, all my Swedish friends. How are we? How are you?
Yiwi.
Oh.
Kiwi fruit. So this Sweden's first list that we've got
You get the bigger writing. This is so unfair. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, you know what's funny is the net when you.
Oh,
no! You printed these out. I just want to put that out there. So the first list is Thorin, King Under the Mountain, Orcrist and a War Goat.
Yes.
Leading 7 Iron Hills warriors with spear and 3 with crossbow. We've got Dwalin, again on a War Goat, and he's leading 1 Goat Rider, 6 warriors with spear and 4 with crossbow. We've got Dane riding his War Boar, Rocket Pig, with 7 Iron Hills warriors with spear and 3 with crossbow. So, it's quite a bland list. There's not much going on, but it's solid.
Yes.
My word, it's going to be a long game.
It's got dwarfs in it.
Yeah.
It's a Goat Rider list with dwarfs.
And it's... I mean... Orcrist, Thorin, good call, in case those unusual lists come out that you need.
Yes.
Your magical elven blades. Dwalin on a goat is just phenomenal. First thing I converted when the War Goats came out was to put Dwalin on one because it's such a powerful model. And Dayton, while we all know how good he is
yes,
incredible.
Do you think this is a solid list?
Yes.
Do you think this is a gaming list?
Yeah.
Right. Shall we move on to the next one?
Right. This one is an easy one to read out. So we've got Radagast the Brown on Sleigh with 2 Great Eagles, and then we've got Bjorn with 2 more Great Eagles. Which, seeing as we're talking about Sweden, I don't know what the meta's like in Sweden to know if this is a real list or not. Because in the UK, this kind of list featured a fair bit a few years ago.
It did, yeah.
But wouldn't really feature now. Radagast on Eagle would be in there instead.
Although I still don't like Radagast on Eagle because he loses a staff.
True.
You know, that's the downside, so I could see why the sleigh may be there. My concern is, it's 760 points.
Yeah.
How much is Gambrigan? Is he 45?
But then you're not pure Radagast Alliance.
I suppose then you're not pure Swedish.
Maybe this person believes in fluff.
Yeah, I'd.
You know, don't take Gan, don't take Fatty, don't take Ranger of the North. I mean, I would have maybe stuck a Ranger of the North in there,
At least.
but we all.
Sorry, how much is Gandrigan? Is he 45 points?
I have no idea.
If he's 45 points, that's a shame. But if he isn't, if he's a little bit less than 45, that's 3 extra might in there.
Yeah.
But hey ho.
But I mean, I love using Eagles.
Yes.
I love the diversity that you have in the games that you play. I love watching people have no idea how to play against you. The difficulty comes when you make one bad roll and now you've lost an Eagle.
Yeah.
Because you only have 2 dice. So, and the sleigh, I mean, you can have so much fun.
Yes. It's
And
a large model.
a very large model and a very pretty model. So it'll be nice if that one does make it.
I've never wanted to buy the model because I was always worried the rabbits would get it.
Well, I bought the first round of Radagast sleighs, so it took 3 Radagast sleighs before I got one that I thought was only damaged enough that I could fix it, because all the others had casting issues.
Oh, I see.
The rabbits didn't have heads or didn't have a back leg and stuff.
The rabbits got it.
Yeah, they really did. Right, the next list starts with a general that is De Boers, and he is leading a mixture of Gundabad, Black Shields, a Warg Marauder, so 2 Warg Marauders, a Black Shield Drummer, good choice,
Yeah.
much better than the other one. We've got Groblog leading some Moray Goblins, some Gundabads, and a 1 Warg Marauder. We've got Ashrak leading 1 Warg Marauder, and some Goblins and some Black Shields, and a Moray Goblin Shaman leading some more Moray Goblins, 1 Marauder, and some Black Shields. Thoughts?
I've always had a problem with shamans without protection, and I don't believe that shaman has protection from Sap Will. And I'd be concerned that that shaman is going to end up being a waste of points. You're really going to have to blue on red this one for that list to have strength.
Yeah.
The Marauders, oh wow, they can be really, really nasty, but I just think you're throwing your shaman away unless you're aiming for a blue V red.
Yeah. I mean, like Groblog Shaman is a nice combo.
Yeah.
Ashrak. Now, if I was going to put Ashrak in this list,
Spiders?
I'd make him either my general,
Oh, okay.
because then if they do kill him, it's probably going to hurt them. Because if you should know, when you wound Ashrak, it can cause you issues.
Paralysation.
But otherwise, with no spiders, no wargs, I don't really know what he's bringing, because warg marauders count as goblins, so they're affected by fury. I would rather have had another shaman, because 2 shamans,
Yeah.
that's a different ballpark then. Your opponent's going to have to commit more magic if they want to get rid of them. As it is, a good little song from a sentinel, and they can move the model out of the way, and now they're
What's
on.
Ashrak got again? He's got enraged beasts and what's his
Beast? Oh no, not Beast.
Beast of Fury.
No, that's Druzhag is Beast of Fury.
Right.
And same with Enraged Beast. Ashrak, maybe he's got Fury too. Maybe I'm just out of the loop. Not many people use Ashrak because he's
so expensive.
so
to buy.
expensive now.
If you've got an Ashrak and you want to bring it to the Middle Earth TTC in Cardiff,
And if
And
you
you'd
actually
like
want to leave it in one of our bags, that
and you want to give it to me, that would be greatly appreciated. If you give it to Owen,
then he'll probably take it off me anyway.
no, no freebies, guys, no freebies. Let us give you the stuff rather than the other way around. Be quiet. The problem is that Ashrak is way too expensive.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen him eBayed for 90.
I think I sold my Ashrak in mint in blister for £5.
And he's still only, he plastic, fine cast?
Fine cast, yeah.
I mean, if it was metal, well, that's another discussion of me and metal, but hey ho. Yeah, interesting list.
Yeah.
A bit dubious about it because it to me it shows either one, it's pure fluff, which it is, but Ashrak doesn't do it.
No.
Yeah, sorry.
I think again it comes down to one of those lists as well where it's a nice list. It's quite straightforward. Has it got a trick up its sleeve? Doesn't look like it. But
Well, I'm looking at what Ashrak actually
Yeah,
does
let's-
because we know that he's a nasty guy, and if he was general, you don't want to be playing against him as general due to the fact that he will paralyze you if you wound him. I think even.
yeah, you roll.
Ashrak,
Oh, he
okay,
does
Death
have
Touch
Fury. So he's got Fury.
and Transfix. So he's okay. So you've got a double shaman there.
That's better than, because double shaman is what you really need.
Yeah.
If you're not gonna, otherwise you do need the matchup of avoid any ring race. At least with two shamans, you don't cast the Fury, but you use the Transfix to try and draw some will.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yes, sorry, we got it all wrong. Ashrak doesn't need the spiders or stuff in there because Ashrak isn't the beast caller, is he?
no, but he's the one who makes spiders better.
He does. He gives them
You can
venom back. Yeah.
So you can make them have re-rolling failed wounds. So
Anyway, sorry,
that's-
we.
that is that list.
So what are we on now?
We've got the Harad list with the Betrayer as the general,
Yeah.
riding a fell beast,
Interesting.
leading some Abrakam's Guard, Harad warriors with spear, and then 6 Watchers of Karna with bow. We've got the Golden King, again some exact same build as Warband. We've got a Taskmaster, and again same Warband, a Harad Chieftain, and this time one fewer Watcher of Karna. So across the army, you've got a lot of Watchers of Karna with bow.
Yeah, you do, but no mobility except for the Betrayer.
And I think, I like Abrakam's Guard,
Yeah.
I like Watchers of Karna. I don't really rate seeing them together all that often.
Right.
Because you need your spear support. You need more dice to win combats.
Well, haven't we got the Haradrim warriors with spears?
You've only got 3 in each warband. So you've got 9
Yeah.
warriors who want a spear
Yeah.
and only 3 spears. I personally would only take 3 Watchers of Karna, and I would take 3 Warriors of Karna with bow and spear to then make my spear supports go further. Yeah, like you said, when we discussed this before, we were saying it lacks mobility because your Betrayer on the Foul Beast is your general, so you can't use him as serious mobility.
No.
Because if he dumps behind your enemy line and they swamp him,
Yeah.
general points handed over, and you've lost the ring wraith on a fell beast.
Yeah. I mean, for Seize the Prize, yes, you're going to get your fell beast up towards the prize, but it can't dig it up.
And he's on his own.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
lonely.
And you have no more mobility to get up there. But you do have the Taskmaster, so you can call a few heroic marches and heroic moves. So it will have that form of... Well, with heroic marches you've got the mobility.
Yeah.
But you still could do with a singular horse or, warg or whatever to make your escape.
Especially when, for 11 points, I think it is, for a Serpent Guard or a Hard Raider with lance and bow, it would be nice to see that. But again,
51 models?
51 models is a high model count relatively, and they're decent fighters. So, it's a decent list.
Yeah.
I think from a tactics point of view, it's not going to pull many surprises.
No.
And finally, from Team Sweden, we have a Thrandra's Halls list with White Council with Galadriel, Lady of Light as the general.
Thrall, yeah.
We've got Thrandrail, King of the the Woodland Realm, riding his elk. Yes.
Whoa!
Bring this list.
Paint it! Get it painted! Serious good paint job on that.
Not that we're biased towards elks, but
No, there's only one in the whole. In fact, there is only one in the whole game.
Pigs and Alps we need to see more
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
And leading some Mirkwood Elves with glaive, some with shield, some Palace Guard with shield, making use of Thranduil's special rule. We've got Legolas, Prince of Mirkwood, leading 10 Mirkwood Elves with bow. We've got Toriel with an elf bow, leading Mirkwood Elves with some with glaive and some with shield. It's a nice little list.
Yes, it is. Loads of bows in there, obviously.
Yeah, and Lady of Light to get you blinding light.
And Thranduil to give you that Nature's Wrath.
I like Mirkwood
No,
Elves.
sorry.
Not
Thranduil
Nature's
doesn't
Wrath.
give Nature's Wrath.
No, it's the crazy cut everyone up one.
Yes.
The Elk hits hard. I like the list. My fear is similar to the last list. It's only really got one dimension to it.
Yeah, it's a little bit squishy as well.
I mean, I love the Mirkwood Elves because they've got a decent defence and high fight, and actually having things like Elven Blades and Glaives can be quite good.
Yeah.
If you can get a small advantage numbers wise, so you can use a glaive in base to base and go two-handed, you can do some real damage.
Well, we've got what, 33 models there?
It's just below what I'd expect in terms of numbers at this point's level for an infantry army. I mean, it's a big investment to take Thranduil, and Legolas and Toriel aren't cheap either. But I'd like to see it.
They're only 95 points, and Lady of Light and Thranduil added together is no different to Saruman and Gandalf. So,
but it's having all of them, I think.
Yeah.
Often I'm tempted to drop a main character to a captain if it gets me a decent boost on numbers or allows me to take a few cavalry.
Okay.
You know, I would have liked to have seen a few like Mirkwood cavalry, but it's a nice list. And
we want to see that.
We do want to see it because we want to see
that on the cable.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
Right. So, cracking straight on to Wales Team 1.
Have you got your glasses on for this one?
We have Team Glaurung. Sorry, my bad. Right, and we have Gandalf the Grey, and he's leading himself on a horse. Then we have Thranduil, King of Mirkwood, leading guarded Galadrim court, Galadrim warriors, wood elf warriors, mixture spears, bows, elven blades, all kicking in here. Then we have Stormcaller
in there as well.
Oh yes, the banner. Oh yes, loads of Stormcallers. Stormcallers galore.
Yeah.
More guards of Galadrim. In fact, it's literally a copy and paste of the Thranduil warband. And then we have Rohan, which is Grimbold of Grimsdale, with some warriors of Rohan, moving into Helmingas.
Yep, Helmingas.
Helmingas. So they've upgraded themselves, and then we have Owen, Shield Maiden, and again some more Helmingas. 44 models. It's got that mobility. It's got what, nearly 20 models with mobility.
Mobility? They're on foot.
Yeah,
they're warriors. Sadly,
they're not.
Sadly, despite the fact that we all see Grimbold riding a horse, we have to upgrade foot soldiers to be Helmingas.
Yeah, they're saddleless.
Yes.
Sadly, they're saddleless.
So much for horse lords saying.
So yeah, but it'll be interesting to see Rohan on foot.
Yeah, there've been a few lists in the past at tournaments around the world really that I've seen with foot Rohan. I don't think I've ever seen them combined with almost a 50-50 split with elves before.
Well, the elves all have spears. The Rohan
all don't.
Strength 4.
So you've got a strength 4, fight 3 front line.
Yeah.
With a strength 3, fight 5 back line.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm thinking about is Easterling Pike block there. You've really broken your army down into just 2 units.
I like the list generally. I think I'm always sceptical of seeing Helmingers because I do think they're just a little bit too expensive for what they do. But maybe I've not seen them comboed with elves. Maybe that will be the treat of the weekend.
Indeed.
Seeing Helmingers work or not.
Let's see how that turns out. Cracking on to the next one, we have the Golden King. Is the general, and from Mordor we have the Dwimmerlake and a Spectre, but the Dwimmerlake isn't on a horse and it isn't on a fell beast, it's just the Dwimmerlake. Then we have the Golden King with some Black Númenóreans, some half-trolls, some Harden warriors with bows and spears, and then we have Harden Chieftain, Black Númenóreans, half-trolls, Harden warriors, bow and spears, and a warhorn. And then we have the Taskmaster, Harden Taskmaster, Black Númenóreans, in fact a complete copy of the previous two, and then we go down to another Harden Chieftain, and it's practically a complete copy.
And there is a warhorn in there, which for those of you who faced half-trolls, a warhorn is a huge addition.
Yeah,
because that's their biggest weakness.
Their courage.
Their courage.
2, I think.
Something terrible.
Yeah, it's really, really bad. Interesting list. No mobility. I'm really surprised to see the Dwimmerlake there without a fell beast. I'm surprised to see.
Or without a horse. It's my surprise, because the thing with the Dwimmerlake is he's the weakest one to Legolas. So at one shot from Legolas, he's got no fate.
Yeah,
I think, or one fate, and so he's quite easy to take up
he's
the
got
game.
no might.
He's got no might, and I think on a horse you can get his bubble effect to anywhere you want it. Without the horse, especially with this kind of list, because this looks like they've got quite a long fighting front line with the Black Númenóreans and the half trolls.
Yeah.
Is the Dwimmerlake going to be able to cover all eventualities?
Unlike the last list where I said you've got 2 blocks, here you actually have 4 smaller blocks. The 38 models in there.
But I do love half trolls. I like Númenóreans. I think the Dwimmerlake feels out of place, but who knows?
Indeed. And now we're moving on to a list that some of the Welsh are famous for. Hint, hint, hint. How you doing? I hope to see you there. Definitely will, I'm sure. We've got Radagast the Brown on his eagle, leading an eagle.
Yeah.
Then we have Gwahir on an eagle, which
on an eagle,
leading an eagle. And then we've Bjorn
on an eagle.
He's not on no eagle, but he is leading an eagle.
Yeah.
So I think this is an eagles list.
I think it might be.
Yeah.
Although Bjorn, but
well, eagle, bear, what's the difference? They both kill you if they land.
They both have sharp, pointy claws.
Yes, they do, and sharp, pointy talons as well. So yeah, that's a list that we are kind of familiar with.
Yeah, I mean, I've fielded a very similar army. I've seen Dan Huckbale take a very similar army, and I think at the GT. It works nicely. Advantage over the other list that we saw from Sweden is they've made use of all the points and squeezed out an extra might point and an extra fate point by having Gwahir rather than another Great Eagle. And I know that you do miss the staff on Radagast by taking the eagle, but you get a monstrous cavalry.
Yeah.
And it's a monstrous cavalry that can just plop right behind your line and kill your fury carrying shaman or...
I think my concern here is that if this is the good flying circus aspect, let's put it against the evil flying circus. Radagast without his staff.
Oh yeah.
The eagles that I don't think they're powerful enough to.
Without his staff and with Nature's Wrath instead of Panic Steed.
Yeah.
So he has to be a lot closer.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is the kind of list I would put against a flying circus. I think I would be using this a little bit. You'd have to be more careful, I think.
But if I had a flying circus, this might well be the list that I'd be looking to hold back and see what they put up against.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next
We've got
list.
2 more now, and we are with Mordor, and it's the Witch King of Angmar. Now, The Witch King of Angmar has used 8 will additional, which is good to see.
Yeah, up to 18.
Yeah, got Morannon orcs with spears and shields, black Numenorians, one with a banner, and some Blackguard of Barad-dûr. Then we have the Undying on a Fell Beast, Morannon orcs, again a copy of the first list as you'll see. And then we have an Orc Taskmaster, and again a copy of the first list, except we have 2 Morgul Knights squeezing in there.
Yep, I mean, it's quite a nice list.
It is. And with the 2 magic users, your staff is broken. The Orc Taskmaster are able to support those 2 fell beasts and the
being able
might
to
there.
Satwell with the Undying,
Yeah.
and then your staff is broken with the Witch King. It's a nice counter for thinking back to
The Rohan list.
the Rohan list,
Yeah.
or the Lake Town with only 1 wizard, those kind of situations. Good counter. Struggling more because outside of those Morgul Knights and the Fell Beasts, it's not hugely quick, but a very high defence. So
Yes.
it's not so worried, and they haven't gone for the Shadow Lord.
No. It's, again, using the fact that all of the stuff is practically defence. Yes.
And
Across the board.
interestingly, these guys have decided to stick swords on everybody. They haven't taken advantage of them running axes or maces.
No.
So we'll see how that plans out, and we'll see how it compares to the Polish with all their variety of weapons.
Yeah, indeed. Not only the Polish, I may say.
If it
No,
turns
no,
up, obviously, they might not take that list. We actually genuinely don't know.
The last list is Saruman the White, General, again, on his own. And,
On a horse as well.
right, so we've now got a complete replication of a previous list, where we have Meriadoc, Peregrine, and Brandibus Took, all with a whole load of Hobbit sheriffs, militia, and
Maximising
archers.
their archers.
Yep, and then we have Legolas and we have the Wood Elves, Guard of Glandrin Court. We have Malbeth the Seer from Arnor, and Warriors in Arnor and Rangers of Arnor.
Again, maximising
Yeah.
those on both of those warbands.
And we have from the Shire, back to the Shire again, good old Freddy Fatman,
Yep,
Freddy Bulger.
Freddy Dragon Slayer.
Hey, so a very, very interesting list. Again, coming back to the tie-in, I'm a bit worried about Saruman on his own. I'm a bit worried about Gandalf, and I'm a bit worried about Magic User on their own. But they have brought in Legolas to
Yeah.
back that up.
So strangely, they've put Legolas on a horse and not Brandibas on a horse. And
Yeah,
they've taken. Is it? I think I would have. I think I'd have lent to having Legolas on foot with a cloak and making him my general, and keeping him out the way, because I want Saruman where he can make the most damage with his blasts.
yeah,
And if he's my general, he's probably not there. But then they've got a decent number this time, 65 models in this list,
yeah,
and Malbeth in there. One of the lists that Ed Ball's Mr. Fellbeast has used in the past has often been hobbits with Malbeth, and it does hurt, because yes, it's easy to kill a hobbit, but a third of the time they don't die with Malbeth around.
yeah, of
It's
course.
painful.
Yeah,
And in a shoot-off, would you rather have blinding light, or would you rather have the ability to have fury?
yeah,
Well, it's a hard choice, and the fury works in combat. So
well, the beauty here is that if whatever army this comes up against, if it becomes a shooting match, this is going to hurt any army they come across.
yeah,
Fell beasts to Maria goblins,
Yeah.
Mordor to the dwarves. It will hurt because you've got so much stones and you've got so much archers there, and yeah. So very, very interesting. And because you've got 65 models, though I said Legolas is protecting Saruman the White, Saruman now has 64 models to
Yeah.
hide behind.
Which is the difference to the other Hobbit list in this group.
So, that's Pool A, guys. What are your thoughts?
I think there's some very interesting lists in that. There are some surprise lists in that.
Mm.
There's some very normal lists in that.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, as always, we're always excited to see our favourite characters from the films.
Yes.
The Witch King, we always want to see the fell beasts flapping around, we want to see elks, we want to see pigs, we want to see Thorin, and it's all in this group. We've got so many of the major characters. Are there some weak lists in there? There's some I'd fancy. There's some I'd rather not go against though.
If we were going to a normal tournament, there are lists in there that I'd say, yeah, I'll take them any day, and I'll run with them, and I'll have good fun, and I'll potentially get podium with them as well.
Yeah.
And there are some lists in there that if I'm coming up against, I'm going,
Yeah.
But we're not going to a normal tournament.
No.
We're going to possibly the best of the best, but in a team environment.
And with the matchup system.
Yeah, a good captain can nearly pick and choose where his army lists go.
And you could tempt somebody out, because if you know you're coming against Wales and you're particularly afraid of that the good flying circus, you could put one of your lists out there to tempt them into putting the flying circus into that, accepting you're probably going to lose that.
Yeah.
But knowing that that's now out of the way, you've got the pick of the draws of the others.
Yeah.
And going, right, we're gonna win this matchup 3-1. That's what we're gonna aim for.
Yeah.
And if you, the chap playing against the Eagles, if you could get a draw, great. If you can't, don't worry about it. You know, and that's going to be the trick of it.
The whole pairing up system, which is why we've given 45 minutes to an hour between each game, because it's very, very important. It's a serious thought process by both the captains or the coaches, but you know, the captains and the teams themselves. Yeah. And the tournament can be won or lost on that.
Yeah.
So we could turn around and we could pick 4 top teams and go, yeah, we definitely expect to see them podium. A bad matchup at the wrong time, wrong scenario, could really just throw a curveball there.
Yeah.
And with the pools the way they are and the way the whole system's working this year, it's you know, all hands on decks, guys. You've got to get those TPs. You've got to minimise your losses in TPs and maximise your gains there.
Yeah.
If you don't, you could be looking at podium and waving goodbye. I'm just so jealous. I am seriously so jealous. Coming up with these ideas is great, but actually wanting to be part of the system as well is
I think everybody expects in that group Poland to be out front.
Yes.
I think looking at their lists, they're not as obviously out front, because I think the other teams have brought some good lists.
Yeah.
Which list they bring could vastly change that, because the list that we expect them to bring, they might bring a different list, and we might see an unexpected rise of a nation we never expected. But there is also the calibre of those players.
Yeah.
And I think the fact is, in this group, I still expect, my hunch is still Poland. But like you said, somebody could steal some TPs from them, a 2-2 here or there, or a 3-1 lost, and then
we are missing one other point, and that is, tactically played, this system, each team should have the 5 lists ready and painted up and whatever 2 weeks before the event, because that's when these videos are coming out, 2 weeks before the event. And you then might be able to sit down and go, well, our 5th list, which was our red herring list, actually could end up giving us 3 wins in the first day. Is it worth taking that red herring list now, because we know the armies we're coming up against? And so, you know, there's even more tactical decisions
would you rather
to be made.
win all 3 matchups on day 1 4-0? Or would you rather risk some 3-1s or 2-2s, and then on day 2 you might be so far down the tables that you're gonna have to beat better teams with higher scores?
Well, as I proved in Cardiff, I came out of Cardiff there a couple of months ago with day 1 all wins underneath my belt. Took a couple of losses day 2 and still ended up on podium.
Yeah.
So win-win situation all around there.
Sometimes getting a lot of TPs on day 1 and a lot of VPs on day 1 can set the tone.
Oh, indeed. And so now we have a much more a tactical insight, because people will now think, what list do we want to take? Because we know we're playing 3 games. So the Polish are playing Sweden, they're playing Scotland 2, and they're playing, in my head, Wales 1. I do apologise, Wales. And they know these are the 3 games.
Yeah.
So maybe the Mordor Catapult might not be the best choice.
Or maybe the All Mounted might be not the best choice, although, you know, it's strange because we've read these lists quite a way in advance.
Yeah.
And we've had to spend a lot of time going over them, looking for errors and checking that they're all legal. And you look at a list sometimes and you go, yes, this list, amazing.
Yeah.
Or you look at a list and you go, I have no idea how this one works.
Yeah.
And so there's actually excitement of, if we get to see some of those unusual lists, just standing and seeing how an experienced general uses those lists, how they protect maybe a vulnerable general, or they exploit their own weakness by maybe tempting their opponent into thinking that they've got an advantage and then turning it round on them. You know, could see some quite exciting games. Day 1's going to be a good day.
Well, we're going to wrap this one up because we're going to have a wee bit of a break, and hopefully we'll get the next set kicked off. Okay, guys.
Obviously, you guys don't have to wait because it'll just appear on.
It'll be the next video. Yeah.
Enjoy that.
Shall we just wait for the next video as well? Oh, hang on. It's not working.
It's not playing.
Alright, guys. Catch you soon. And from Owen.
Comment down below. We do actually want to know what you think about these.
Please do.
Don't bother sharing, but if you do click like and subscribe, then if we get other videos up, you'll know that they're coming, and that would be great for you. And
that's it.
see you soon.
Alright, cheers.